I wonder if anyone has figured out what to do in those minutes of an Instagram live when there is nobody there yet. But it is already being recorded. But I'm gonna be here. Hey Jen. Hey Soph. Give me a little emoji if you're here. I'm sitting on a really squeaky chair, so you might hear that squeak. Squeaky squeak. How's everyone feeling? I'm checking some hearts. Welcome to this chat. Hello, Soph. And as I was preparing for this chat, I realized I've never actually told this story. So it was quite a interesting process for me to go like, what actually was my journey? What actually are my lessons? What actually are the things that I want to share? Felice is saying, just telling everyone over and over again, what you are going to share. Nice. Yay. I'm happy that you're here, Felice. Hello, beauties. Yeah, so bear with me as I'm also figuring out this story and sort of giving words to it for the first time. What I'm gonna do is start with a timeline, sort of, how it all unfolded from the start to where I am now. Then I'm gonna share some lessons that I feel like were the most important that I learned on this journey. And then I want to end with just some ways that I remain soft right now in my existence as a soft entrepreneur, like what helps me, to be that in my daily life. Okay, and if you have questions along the way, then drop them or little emojis or something. All right, let's start at the beginning of my professional life, which started, I'm not going to go into that in depth, but when I was 14, I started working as a model, and I worked that until I was 28. And this will be important in the story because what that resulted in was a very inconsistent up and down financial life. Like the one moment I was fucking rich and I was balling, and then the next moment I was absolutely dirt poor. And there was this unsafety about that lifestyle that I got used to. And I appreciated it in a way because it allowed me to travel and to be free and to pay for my own life as a student in Amsterdam and things like that. When I was about 26, I started to work in an office, and I very soon realized, no, this is not for me. I don't like to be told what to do. I cannot handle authority. I think I got that from my dad. So that sort of combined with me getting into the Tantra world and doing these women courses and retreats and workshops and seeing like, wow, these women are doing this. They are teaching this and they are making money doing that. So in the year 2019, I said, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to give myself 1 year to fuck around, to play, and to see what happens. And I think that was so important because there was a time frame for me. There was a playfulness as a result of that I knew, okay, I can do everything as a first shitty draft and see what happens in that year. And I didn't want to put too much financial stress on myself in that time, so I kept working 3 other jobs. I was working as a waitress, I was working as a copywriter, and I was working as a model at the same time. In the time that I had left, I started playing around. And in the beginning of this work, I did everything, or mostly everything, for free. I was giving a free like challenge. I wonder if any of you here were there for the like the sensual self 21-day challenges. That was a whole thing. Free workshops, free like these freebies, you know, the PDFs. Slowly growing through these little free things that I was giving. I was doing giveaways. I started collabing with women who were ahead of me. That was huge, because I suddenly had access to their audience. Because I had 300 people that were still from my like childhood, you know, these awkward people from your high school. They were like, what the fuck is up with her? Suddenly talking about Shakti, whatever. But as I started to co-create with women who sort of had my audience, that's when women started to come to me, because we obviously had resonance in our crowd. And through that, it started to grow and grow. But it was very slow in this time. I had one course and everything else was free. The big breakthrough for me happened about 1 year later, which was when I gave myself a challenge to make 3 reels. I have never made reels before, right? So I said, I'll just give it a try, let's see. And within those 3 reels, I realized that there was something so important missing this whole time. In this, well, it was a year that I was trying, right? What was missing in that whole time was my humanness, was my personality. And I think it's normal that as you start in a job that you apply a general voice to yourself of what others are saying, of how others are talking in that industry, right? So I did that. I was speaking that first year in a very sort of, you know, this classic feminine coach voice. And as I started doing reels, it was like, yes, there's this human part that was missing that I can now bring in, this part of me that is humorous and that curses and that is sexual and that is, like it felt like such a liberation to bring her in. Like to bring the real part of me in. And the beautiful thing that happened was when I started taking off. And I think this is an important lesson that I already want to share here, is to feel into and think about what are parts of you that you are not sharing because you think it doesn't fit the persona of your entrepreneurial self. What are things that you're like, nah, I can say that because that will cost me my job or that will cost me respect? Because I really think that those are the actual things that hold the magic. Another example for me was to really start talking about my anxiety, because I thought I shouldn't have anxiety. I am a healed teacher. I should be super calm. But when I started sharing that I'm fucking anxious, I got very intense social anxiety, I feel I'm a shy person, sensitive person, that's also when it just started to get this momentum, attracting more and more people, more and more work. And that is a truth about starting a business that's quite frustrating, is that once you start going, it becomes easier and easier because you're on an upward spiral. But to get on that upward spiral, that's the hard part, because then you're just struggling. But then at one point, something comes and lifts you up. And for me, that was going viral. It sounds so lame, but it's true. I had these videos go viral, and that actually resulted in a lot more clients and customers and sales and co-creations and opportunities. So that was sort of the way up. But I think, as always, when you reach a new level of success, you also reach a new level of challenge. So as I was in that stage now, where things were going well and taking off, the challenges I started facing were unlike anything I had ever felt. So one clear example is going viral. The amount of hate and rudeness and judgments you receive was something I was not prepared for. I was not mentally prepared for that, to get hurt like that. So I started to feel really anxious about Instagram, about going on there, like opening the comments was like I don't want to see what people are saying. It scared me so much. At the same time, also the anxiety about Instagram, of sometimes doing so well and then other times not at all, like this up and down, like so fragile, so unpredictable. It really felt like I was in a relationship with a narcissist. You know, people who sometimes they put you on a pedestal and they say, you're the most awesome person on the planet. And then the next day they go like, don't fucking talk to me. I don't know you. That's exactly what it felt like to be on Instagram. So that stress and that anxiety that was happening really started to damage my mental health. At the same time, with this increase of success also was the increase of working all these jobs at the same time. So all of that, which in a way was all success, actually resulted in me crashing hard the end of 2022. That was when I had to take off 3 months because I was so extremely tired. I had these emotional breakdowns. The anxiety was too much. I couldn't function anymore. So it was really my body saying, stop. What you're doing now, no, it's not working. You cannot continue this way. It's unsafe. It's not good. It's not healthy. So in those 3 months that I took off, I had to rethink what I was doing. You know, I had to go like, okay, well, how can I create safety for myself? That was the main question that I want everyone to ask themselves all the time. How can I create safety for myself in this situation? And for me, the main things were, okay, I have to break free from this dependency of Instagram. I have to break free from this financial instability. And I have to find ways to regulate in these stressful things. I have to be able to hold myself. So as a result, I started to create a membership, started to create a meditation app. I started to post on other platforms to sort of break free from this toxic dependency I had on Instagram. And as I did that, more and more safety started growing in my life. I had the financial safety grow. I had that sort of that distance from Instagram that helped me feel like inner safety. And yeah, that was sort of what led me to where I am now, which is basically safety in all these areas. This security in myself, the inner safety, but also the financial safety. And that really resulted from listening to what would make me feel safe right now? What would make me feel safe right now? And listening, really going. It's like when you have that anxiety and you start seeing it as a child and you go like, I'm gonna fucking listen to you now. I'm not gonna push you away. I'm not gonna hurt you when you are crying. I'm gonna take you and look and ask, what do you need? What do you need? I think we really underestimate the intelligence of our anxiety, of our sadness and our emotion, because we think it's the enemy, it's bothering us, it's getting in the way. But what if it is actually the way, you know? Because that's what it was for me. I had this anxiety and I was like, no, I want to go that way. I'm not going to listen. But then it was like, okay, I'm going to listen. And that showed me the way I had to go. That showed me the way to where I am now, which is having this beautiful recurring income, this beautiful team of women, this beautiful social media presence, a beautiful brand, successful marketing, a nice website, like everything is good now. That was because I listened to my anxiety. So that's a big lesson. Yeah, so that's sort of my story of my challenges and my growth and my breakthroughs. And I want to sort of capture all of that in in some lessons that I wish everyone sort of knew, or that I wish I had known when I started this whole thing, right? And I have a little list here because there's no way I'm going to remember all of this. Okay, first of all, 4 things that I wish I knew when I started the journey. The first one is knowing how to rest. Realizing that to be successful, you need to know how to rest. I saw this quote the other day that said, if you don't take care of your wellness, you will be taking care of your illness. And that was so powerful for me, reflecting on my journey and seeing how true that is. Because I wasn't taking care of my wellness, I was just focusing on growing and business and working. I was working the whole time, every day, every evening. Just so stupid if I think about it now. God, it's a classic. But it took me a long time to learn how to rest, because in the beginning I couldn't. It made me anxious, it made me unsettled. I couldn't figure out how to rest, right? How I do it now, oh no, I'll tell that later how I do these things now, but that's the first thing. Know how to rest, and I will give you some examples of how to do that. The second thing is realizing that you are not your business. There was one teacher in the beginning of my journey who was all about, you are your business. You are your business. Like the business and the identity is one. And looking back at that now, I realize how fucking toxic that is and how that actually really hurt me. I became my business. So the success of my business, working on my business, correlated the value of me. And it's recently that I realized, okay, I'm not my business. I'm a human being working for a business. And this is very confusing if you have a personal brand, which I think many of you do. So how do you, it's a bit of a mindfuck. Like, I am Jessica, working for Jessica Fawn. What helps me is that Jessica Fawn is not my real name. I'm a Dutch person and my name is Jessica de Vouwen. So I am Jessica de Vouwen working for Jessica Fawn, right? Me, Jessica, needs to be paid by Jessica Fawn as a business. So there's hours that I put in to work for Jessica Fawn that pays me. Outside of that work, I am many other things. And that's the lesson here, to nourish these other identities that you have. That you don't have to walk the talk the whole time. You don't have to practice what you preach the whole time. You don't have to be a fucking wholesome, holy teacher just because you're teaching meditation. Like, you can also go have a glass of wine with your friend. You can also go boxing. You can also, do these things that you think don't align with how you teach or what you teach. For me, that was surprisingly hard to go like, what do I actually want to do? And then I started to get more into my hobbies and learning languages and taking courses. And that was surprisingly powerful in distancing myself from the success of the business. Because it was, I am a person and I have all these beautiful things that I fill my life with. And I also work sometimes for this business. That's it. That's a really a mindset that I invite you to try on, because it's incredibly powerful to sort of create some distance between you and your business, right? The third thing that I wish I knew was to become so incredibly attuned with your truth that it's so loud that when something comes along on your path and you feel like, oh no, that you don't do it. Because if you do it, it might result in resent or stress, many other things that come up from following something that you're actually initially not excited by. And this is not easy in the beginning. Sometimes you have to go do things that you're not really excited by, but I think it is an important thing to practice from the start, to always prioritize what actually excites you, what genuinely feels like, that's something I love, that's something I want to teach. Because then you actually create a life that's full of things that you're excited by. So I followed things of like, nah, I don't like it, but I will do it because it might result in success for my business. Then I ended up filling my days and my time with stuff that didn't excite me. And it's so important, to follow that joy, because then you will create a life that is filled with joy, right? Okay, that's the third one. The fourth piece, it is so crucial to learn how to regulate, to learn how to calm your nervous system, to acknowledge the fact that being an entrepreneur is fucking scary. That it is fucking intense for your nervous system to start a business. That it is like a life or death response in your nervous system when you don't know if you're gonna pay rent next month. That you don't know if you're gonna have cash. That you don't know what's next. Like, that is so intense for your nervous system. And I think I didn't take that seriously enough. That I didn't take seriously enough how fucking scary it is to be visible online, to share my things, and to be so harshly judged or rejected. And even if I wasn't rejected, it's still scary to say, hi, hello. Gosh, I have such a deep respect for people who do that now, because of going through that myself. So yeah, being able to regulate, being able to take seriously when something feels stressful. So if that means you have to cry after an Instagram story, or if that means throwing a tantrum after you taught a class that didn't go so well, these things that you could normally go like, don't make such a fuss, don't be so dramatic. You go like, no, I am going to be fucking dramatic, because this is my inner child and she needs to express herself. So if that means a sobbing or for something tiny, I will do it, because that is what I need to regulate. So that's the fourth thing, to learn how to regulate. Yeah. Okay, so the second part of the advice, of the lessons, was what I did learn along the way. What I want to give to you as pieces of advice is to, from as soon as you can, work with people, to allow yourself to be supported. That could be by other people's networks. So if you are you're growing an audience, how can you co-create? How can you create a giveaway with someone? How can you create a course with someone? And the moment you got cash available, how can you outsource? Oh, what a gift. When you can outsource the administration or the communication. Allow yourself to be supported by others. Take that. So important for me on my journey. Okay, the second thing that I already mentioned is to give space to the parts of you that you think I shouldn't show because I'm ashamed of it, because it doesn't fit my persona, it doesn't fit my brand, it doesn't fit the field that I'm teaching in. Show it. Bring it. Please. Show the parts that you think, that's embarrassing, or no, that's too dark, or like your struggles or things like that. I think these are the parts that make you unique, and what makes you unique is your magic, is your power, because nobody else has it. And that's something to really take seriously, and to stop trying to force yourself in this mold of what others in your industry are doing, and going like, no, wait, who am I with my best friend? Who am I with my partner? How can I bring that person forward here a little bit more? That's something that changed everything for me, and that is what I invite you to also try, because that could mean a spark. Okay, a thing that helped me along this journey all the time, what was crucial, is knowing my why. And you might have heard this many times, like finding your why. What's your why? What's your purpose? And it all sounds a bit cliche, but it is the thing that got me up again and again and again when I was on the floor thinking, fuck this. I'm giving up. I'm getting a normal job. Because then I thought, wait, I can't. Because for me, the purpose I have is to create safe spaces for women, because I, as a woman, never felt safe in the world. So it's something that hits me personally, and every time I think about it, it makes me emotional. And I think having that is so incredibly powerful, because it's always like a smack in the face of like, you have to, and then you'll find a way to get back up again. So that's something to explore for yourself and to crystallize and to keep, so that you know you can come back to it again and again whenever you feel like, no. Okay, there's 2 more points that I want to share here. The point now is a quick one, is to always remain a student, to always keep receiving. As a teacher or as a business, you're giving, but are you also receiving? This is so important, to keep a full cup. And this is a mistake I made. I was giving, and I wasn't actually doing any courses. I didn't have any guides or teachers. So then, of course, you're going to run empty at one point. So always make sure that you are receiving, that you are a student. It doesn't even have to be something of your field or whatever you're teaching, but just something that you are learning that excites you. Yeah. This is a very practical, simple one that I want you to keep. The 5th one is huge, that I want to scream off the mountain tops, is to get real about numbers. In my world, in my industry, there's a lot of bullshit going around, of abundance coaches, feminine business coaches that say, if you are aligned, you will make 7 figures. Or if you are in pleasure, you will attract the dream client and the 50K weeks. No, I'm not having it. Whenever someone says 7 figures or even anything with figures, I'm like, I don't want to fucking, no, get out of my space. I feel strongly about this. I don't know if you can tell. This mindset has brought me so much suffering and so much insecurity, because I thought I am doing something wrong because I am not making 5 figures in one day, and these people are saying that if I orgasm I should be rich, or if I align with my soul then I should attract clients. I laugh now, but it was actually fucking terrible. And it still sits in my brain that if, for example, I'm not, a post is not doing well, or I'm selling, the sales is slow, I'm going, oh fuck, maybe I'm not aligned with my angels. And a part of it is true. A part of it is true that we need an abundance mindset, because that allows us to show up fully, to be hopeful, to be courageous, to be playful. Like all of that comes from an abundance mindset. You know, from feeling, this is exciting. I'm gonna be fine. I'm good. You know, it makes you show up better. So there's truth in that, but it should only remain a mindset tool and not a business tool. 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years because they don't look at their cash flow, because they don't look at the numbers. They go like, no, I'm abundancing. I'm manifesting abundance. I don't want to hear it. No, don't do that. Have a cash flow. Know your costs. Are you paying yourself? These things that feel icky, you're like, I don't like it because it's not sparkly and it's not easy. And this is where I feel strongly about, because I feel like this is why this is something that women don't give themselves, that level of responsibility, of financial stability. That's that king energy, that abundancing. Sorry, can't come to the phone right now. I'm abundancing. Oh, Beans is having an attack. Yeah, so that's the final piece of like a lesson or an advice, is to get clear on your numbers and to have an overview of your finances. And that might feel overwhelming and making you go like, fuck, I don't know where to start. Like, and I get that. It is really scary in the beginning. But you can learn it. You can learn it, and it's so empowering, and it's so liberating, and it's so safe for your nervous system. When you know, when you have clarity, when you have an overview of your money. So yeah, that's the final little lesson that I want to give everyone. Yeah, realize that you're working for your business and you need to have financial clarity. Okay, rant finished. Okay, final piece of this call, and then we wrap it up, is ways in which I maintain my softness as an entrepreneur. And the first one is connected to what I just said, and that is having clear systems, having overview. So when there is no overview, and I like to think of that as a Shiva, you're Shaktiing, like bleh, chaos. You can go anywhere. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're at even. Which can be beautiful because you're flowing, you're creating, but it's unsafe to your nervous system. Your nervous system needs clarity, stability, structure, needs to know what's up. It's the riverbeds, that you can flow into. Oh yeah, it was you, Muriel, who said having a deadline allowed for creativity to pour through. And often when we're like, I'm gonna create something in the coming, then the space is too open. We need the structure, and that can look like lists. It can look like projects, like timelines, like tools that you use. So I love to use Notion, for example. I have templates there, and timelines, and 1-year plans, and things like that allow for my feminine to go, I'm held, I'm safe, I'm okay, I know what's happening, I know where I'm at with my business and with my finances, I'm taken care of. It's the same as a parent who just lets their child fuck off into the wild. Can you imagine how scary that is for a child? They go like I can go anywhere. But if there's a little fence around it, a little playground, it's safe, because it's like, okay, this is my area. This is where I can be and play. So the Shiva is the inner parent, and the Shakti is the inner child, and we need both. We need a balance. Notion is a tool that I invite everyone to look up. I'm going to host a course next month where I actually teach a lot about Notion, how to do it. But look it up. There are a lot of beautiful tutorials and templates that you can find there. Okay, so that's the first little thing of how I remain soft. Love the example of the kid in the wild. Then the self-regulation is that concept of I have an inner parent and an inner child applied to my inner world. So with the systems and with tools, I apply it to my business. With self-regulation, I apply it to myself. I am my parent, my own parent, and I'm also a child that needs care, that needs to be held in emotions, that needs to cry and scream and kick and nap. And it's so important to take that seriously, to, like I said earlier, to don't go like, don't be so dramatic, or I shouldn't feel this way, but to take it fucking seriously. That when you feel sad because of something, or when you feel angry because of something, that you don't judge it, but you give space. That you say, okay, you can kick and scream on the bed now because of how you feel. That's okay. So a big part of this is becoming comfortable with being fucking weird and being really dramatic. Allowing yourself to kick and scream and cry and sound. Like, if you would see what I do sometimes, you'd be like, that chick is fucking psycho. You would be like holding up your cross, like, call the exorcist. Because it's my body that needs to like shake or cry or sound or whatever, because I actually found it fucking scary to go online on Instagram or to teach a class to these people or whatever, having a confrontation with someone. Yeah, become comfortable with being a crazy person. That is so important. So important, because otherwise the crazy is going to come out in other ways, and we don't want that. The other thing that I think is a beautifully practical tool that I apply is to have one day a week that is my artist day. And some of you might know the book The Artist Way. And this is one of the main principles of that book, is to have one day a week where you take yourself out on a date. And this is also an inner child piece of listening to your heart and listening to what gives you joy. What would make you feel joyful that day? Maybe it is buying a coloring book, or maybe it is going for a stroll, maybe it's going to the aquarium, or maybe it's laying in bed all day and watching chick flicks. This is a radical commitment to what your inner child needs that day. And I really feel like these days are keeping me sane. I have a whole box of things that I bought for my inner child, like a little bear and a little sticker book and things. So try that out. Go to like a craft shop and let your inner child pick something. Like, it's the best. It's the best. It makes you so happy. And that kind of joy is what you want to create, for yourself. And that's what that day is for. So to have that container of time to commit to that part of yourself is beautiful, and it's really helpful, because otherwise, it's difficult to integrate that into your life. Then the weekend, I have no work, no phone, not for work related things. There's a commitment to myself, to my personal life, to the people. And that means I have these 3 days a week where I forget about what I am doing. There is a true disconnect, and that links to that part of how important it is to nourish the identities outside of your entrepreneurial identity. How important it is to also be other things, to also be your other human things, instead of just that business owner, right? And I have a baby seal that Annaloes is mentioning here, a little cuddle toy. Yeah, so that was something that I wrote here also, nourishing other identities. So you don't have to walk the talk the whole time. And then finally, I want to finish with that, is that I became able, and I really, really take seriously, to listen to my truth. When someone comes with an offer, or I have an idea, to feel like, does this spark joy? Does this feel cozy and sweet and exciting? And if it doesn't, I am not doing it. I am so radically committed to that truth, knowing that whatever comes out of that aligns with me, and if I follow what doesn't feel like a yes, then I will create a reality that doesn't. So that's the final thing that I want to close with, because it's the most important. And in in 3 weeks, I'm going to host a free challenge. I will post about it so you won't miss it. Beans is in the cupboard. Which will be about listening to your truth. I call it the golden compass. Listening to what is a yes, what's a no. The second thing, there are 3 things. The second thing is, what is your essence? Knowing who you are, knowing your core, so that you become so strong in that. And the third thing is visioning, so seeing your desired reality. So that's going to be a beautiful 3-day little journey of becoming crystal clear of your magic. It's called Elixir. And I'm really excited. It's going to be beautiful. But I will share more about that. But just so you already know. Sabbath, yes, I will upload this. So this is done. If anyone wants to share anything or ask anything. Media was saying here, being crazy is my new normal. It's a temple standards. Yes. We're a bunch of fucking freaks in there. No, that's not true. We're very cute. I'm just... Felice asked, did you already know where you wanted to go and or / end up when you started your business? No. No, I didn't know that. I only knew that I wanted to share what I learned, which were all these tools for women to learn to love themselves, to feel empowered, to feel free. So it was more about, okay, how can I share that? So that's something to feel into for yourself. I had a beautiful message actually coming through yesterday in a ceremony inside temple that I was participating in, and the message was, you want what you want for a reason. All you have to do is follow what you want. Your future is manifested in your current wants. Your desired future is manifested in your current wants. If you follow your wants right now, something that matters, something that excites you, something that you long for, then every step will lead you to your desired reality. And I thought that was beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Sky, I love your shirt. Yes. Yes, it also applies to life. What were your first collaborations like? Tricky, because, as I said, when I worked in an office job, I realized I don't like authority. I don't like to adjust my things to anybody else. So when you collaborate, you obviously need to find some sort of compensation, some sort of middle ground, and that was difficult. So there's a big learning in that, and that also made me more. That piece of feeling into my truth became more important to really go like, does this person feel exciting? Does it make me feel happy and joyful? And if not, I'm not doing it. Which places did you use to get away from Instagram? I created my own platform. That was the main thing. I was like, I'm gonna create my own social media situation, and that's the membership I have. That was the first one. And then other ways that I've created more diversity is to start a blog, to use flyers, to go in person, to create in-person events, to go to podcasts. These ways of sharing myself in other ways that take away the pressure on my Instagram. Because, I don't know, if you are doing something similar to me, then you know how incredibly fragile the visibility is. Like up and down, you don't know what you're going to get, and it's terrible. You can post the most beautiful thing and it's not going to be shown. So you want to create some other ways, some other avenues. I really struggle with organizing myself here. That's like a skill you learn. But check out Notion. It might help you. Ava's asking how to do the jump. How to do the jump is to not jump, but to go tiny steps. I don't believe in leaping. I think it is very stressful for your nervous system. So I think it's about creating an environment that feels safe enough to take little steps. To give yourself space to play. To approach everything you do as the first shitty draft. And this is not my term, but I use it a lot because it's so powerful. To know that everything you do is always a draft. Nothing is ever done. Nothing is ever perfect. You are just trying. You are just fucking around, playing, creating. That's it. So what would be the first little step that you can create, that you can take to create whatever you want to create? And take that perspective of YOLO, YOLO. Take that, what's it? Mantra. The YOLO mantra. Okay. I'm gonna do one more question and then I'm gonna end it. If you didn't get your question answered, then send it to me privately. Do you have advice for someone feeling the pressure of real world responsibilities to the point of feeling paralyzed? I think that's a big question. Can you send that to me privately, because I want to think about that and give you a good answer. If you could go back in time to Jess, who had this vision you have created, what would you say to her now? Oh gosh, that's also a huge question. Yeah, I think I would say the things that I told you. I would say prioritize rest, listen to your truth, take time for your other identities, and you'll be fine. But you'll be fine anyway. But I will tell her the things that I told you now. All these things that I wish I knew. Yeah, that's what I would tell her. Okay, I'm gonna end this. Thank you for being here. You can send me your question if I haven't answered it. I see there's a few good ones, but yeah. Beautiful, sweet people. Mwah! Have a beautiful evening, day, whatever you're having. We'll connect soon.